she hoped Trump would revive her farm. Now she worries his policies could bankrupt it. Rebecca Carlson planned to use a USDA grant to hire overseas workers for her cherry harvest. A funding freeze has left her in debt and unsure whether she can hire the workers. After Donald Trump won the presidency again, Rebecca Carlson was counting on this being the year things turned around for her 1,300-acre farm in northern Michigan. The farm has been in her family for generations but has struggled over the past several years amid the rising cost of fuel, fertilizer, and other operating expenses. Then, last year, bad weather wiped out much of her crop. But the return of Trump, she thought, would help reverse things. I was expecting to see a drastic turnaround for the better for my farm because the Republicans have always been for the American farmer, said Carlson, a longtime Republican and Trump supporter. Prices for cherries, her main crop, had increased during Trump's first term after his policies cut down on competition from overseas, and she was hoping to see a similar economic boost this time around. Instead, her farm has been caught up in the widespread government funding freezes, jeopardizing her ability to hire the workers she needs for this season's harvest. It could leave her $200,000 in debt if she's unable to access the grant money that had been awarded to her farm. I'll admit to you, I bleed Republican. However, this has left a sour taste in my mouth, Carlson said. During Trump's first administration, a lot of farmers, not all, but a lot of farmers saw the positive side to his tariffs and to his agricultural dealings. Now, we're not seeing that, she said. Now, we're seeing the actual opposite. Voters in rural and agriculture-reliant areas have been one of Trump's most consistent bases of support since he first emerged on the political scene a decade ago. But the early days of his second administration have introduced a lot of risk to this sector of the economy. Trump's proposed tariffs could drive up the price of grain and fertilizers while lowering demand overseas for U.S. agriculture products. Immigration crackdowns could cripple farm workforces, where an estimated 40% of workers lack the proper documentation to work in the U.S. Meanwhile, spending cuts and freezes have directly affected federally funded programs that provide loans and grants to farmers. Trump has acknowledged his support from farmers and talked about how his policies would benefit them by reducing imports of food from abroad, which could increase demand for some U.S.-grown products. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer, Trump said during his address to Congress this month. But Trump acknowledged that there will be an adjustment period as his policies take shape. The president added that farmers will probably have to bear with me again as they did during his first term, when the tariffs he put in place on China resulted in retaliatory tariffs on a range of U.S. agriculture products, causing U.S. exports to China to tumble. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said on Friday that the department was looking into a program to help mitigate any economic catastrophes that could happen to some of our farmers. Asked whether that would include direct payments, Rollins said, "We're working that out right now." While the situation with tariffs moves forward, Carlson says she doesn't have much time to wait to solve her problems. Her farm had been awarded a grant worth $400,000 through the U.S. Department of Agriculture to help pay for the costs associated with hiring seasonal workers from overseas through the H-2A visa program, which farmers have used for years to hire temporary agricultural workers. The USDA describes the program on its website as a way to address labor shortages on American farms and reduce illegal immigration. It's backed by $65 million in funding from the American Rescue Plan, a COVID stimulus bill passed in 2021. But now, funding for that program appears to be frozen. Farmers like Carlson have been unable to get reimbursed for expenses they've already incurred under the grant, and there has been no official guidance from the USDA on whether they will get reimbursed for future expenses, said Michael Marsh, head of the National Council of Agricultural Employers, a trade group that works with the many farmers using the H-2A visa program. "It's kind of like have the rug pulled out from underneath you," Marsh said.